The last standard algorithm for working with a two-dimensional array is to visit every element in the array. And you can either process it a row at a time or a column at a time. Since we normally read from left to right and top to bottom, we are going to do a row at a time. So we'll start up here at 0, 0, then we'll visit 0, 1, 0, 2, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, and so on all the way down to the end. So our main algorithm looks something like this. We want to go through every row, and when we're on a row, we want to process that row. So what's it mean to process a row? Well, processing a row means to step across every column and process the item at the given row and the given column in the array. So if we put these two algorithms together, we take this and replace process a row, then what we get is for an outer loop that goes from 0 to the number of students minus 1, an inner loop that goes from 0 to the number of tests minus 1, and we're going to process the item at position row, comma, column. And all we need to do is figure out what processing that element means. And in this case, processing that element simply means that we're going to write it out in a 5-column wide field. Okay, so here's our code. And we will copy it, flip over to our program, and paste it in. Okay, and again, we don't need these last two lines, so I'm going to get rid of them. We need to call this function in order to get it to work and see if it's actually working or not. And we're going to comment out the previous one because we've already got that one working. So the name of this is show all students and tests. It's expecting us to pass in the score array. It's expecting the number of students and the number of tests. So let's take a quick look at the code. Static because this is in a console program, void because it doesn't return anything, it just does something. The name of the function here is show all students and tests. We're passing in a two-dimensional array of integers. The name of that variable is score. We're passing in an integer that is the number of students. We're passing in another integer that's the number of tests. Our outer loop processes one row at a time. First time we do row 0, we add 1 onto it. We do row 1, we do row 2, all the way up to 1 less than the number of students in our array. Then inside the for loop, this code right here is the code for processing a single row in the array. So to process a row, you start at column 0, column 1, column 2, and you keep on doing that until you get up to 1 less than the number of tests. And all we're going to do is we're going to write it out. To make it look nice, we're going to pad it with blanks on the left side until we've got 5 characters all together, and then we're going to do a write line. So you don't want to go to a new line until you've finished 1 row in the table. So let's go ahead, and we're calling it, so we should be good to go. Let's go ahead and start up the program. And there it is, row 1, column 1, row 1, column 2, row 1, column 3. And again, all these numbers have been converted to a 1-based two-dimensional array. So we start at row 1 and go up to row 20 instead of 0 through 19 like it really is internally. And we go from column 1 to column 2 to column 3. And again, that's instead of going from column 0 to column 1 to column 2, which is the way that it's done internally. So if you want to step through a two-dimensional array, this is another standard algorithm. You process 1 row at a time, and processing a row means you process 1 column at a time, and processing a column means that you visit the item at that row and in that column.